Okay, again, thank you very much, everyone. As I said already, and welcome everyone again. Thank you. Thank you very much for participating and making time and effort to organize arrangement and all those things and so many things. And then able to make and together and to at least reminding and kind of like inspiring to each other according to our capabilities about our practice, our meditation, our spiritual journey or goal, that what we all following in the same destination, same aim, same goal, and same identity, same intention. So that again, this is the gathering of the Sangha members, all together. As one mandala, we just really trying to explore as much as we can according everyone's capabilities. In that context, again, always in the teaching said, and as always, great masters, at one voice said, correct the motivation, intention to begin to activate our practice. Absolutely teaching, Dharma practices relying on the motivation, not outside to the material, to any other thing, except our motivation. Motivation is our own mind, our own intentions. Intention is the key to turn the engine and wheel of the spiritual and the Dharma. Without the intention, if we don't change, nothing going to really happen. Maybe it's almost is going to wrong directions. Therefore, who has the intention, power, ability, or capability to change our own intention, or my own intention? No one else has beside myself. And each of you too. To change the motivation and intention is absolutely 100% one is relying with us. So therefore, to make practical and more kind of sensible, more meaningful, then always in the teaching said, all the great masters from the Buddha, everyone, all the lineage masters said, correct the motivation. That will make the Dharma as supreme Dharma. To observe in our heart and mind and begin to change ourself of habit pattern. What are going to change? Changing the habit patterns. Habit patterns, those unnecessary, unhealthy, and those all disturbance health habit patterns that we all have. We carry that packages from the beginningless times. And each time we're adding something more and more according to teaching. That we're going to loosen up. It will. If we change the motivation, while we're reflecting the teaching, while we're practicing the Dharma, while we're meditating, all like contemplating the Dharma, really according to the teaching, it will lose that kind of gluey habit patterns. It will change and loosen up. And we become more lighter, more peaceful, more happy. Those are in the teaching said. So therefore, again, change the motivation. This changing motivation is nothing easy, but to keep continuation is difficult. That is to apply the practices. Change in motivation. What direction this time? Again, joy and appreciation. Simple. Joy and appreciation. Make reason to make joy and appreciation. See some kind of make reasons, kind of meaningful reasons. We have all the beautiful things to compare it with all the different world, different countries, different places, different areas, and look to ourselves. We have every reasons to feel happy and joy. Not just only luxuries of the external, but we have some spiritual qualities. Loving kindness, compassion, respect, appreciation, considerations. Those also we really have. We all have that. Those are we have to appreciate joy and appreciate it. Being grateful. Those are the motivation. It's not something changing motivation means we have to move the mountain or we have to do something big, gigantic things. Joy and appreciation. When we bring joy and appreciation in heart and mind, what it does, that we know, it brings more joy, more appreciation, more rich in our lives, not empty and hollow and kind of fading away. It really brings more richness. joy and appreciation. And that brings what's called good heart, rich heart, abundance of heart. That makes more meaningful. And combine that joy and appreciation, then bodhicitta. We receive so many teachings. Our joy and appreciation is not localized and kind of, again, with the ego clinging, grabbing and territorially restricting. Expanding, wishing that to joy and appreciation, the good things, what we have, even better, every more to all the beings. Really, the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, is teaching those 4 boundless prayers. If you have time before the practices of meditation, chant those 4 boundless prayers. They are mantra, they are secret words. May all living beings free from the suffering, the cause of sufferings. Sincerely wishing and express that with your tongue or we express how pure it is. We think of many times we chant, we Mahayana practitioners, we chant that, or just kind of casual. But that's not really casual. Those are not casual. They are more rooted, deep, profound. If we open the door of compassion, that will change the whole our directions. That witnessed by all these great masters, great bodhisattvas. May all living beings have the happiness, cause of happiness. Those prayers, the mantra, the secret word, really, how powerful, how beautiful, how open, how so enlightened. Not just sing those words kind of like as a kind of without knowing the meaning. We all have the knowledge. We all started some degree. Or at least know what they were talking. How powerful it's really coming. So those bodhicitta is so powerful, so important. According to the teaching of the lineage masters and all that, even if we have practiced such a more kind of fancy, beautiful names and all that, but if we lack of the bodhicitta, good heart, it almost becomes hollow, empty. It just then kind of like you just uttering them, almost we become the radios. We become not just like kind of like the broadcastings. Nothing is happening. Really too much. You just talk. But if it really is kind of feel that from the heart, and then say those words, praise, that is practicing. Those are known as the practitioners. Along with that, then the purity, understand of the realization of Vajrayana teachings. Everything is pure. Form is enlightened, even though we don't see. And sound is enlightened. Mind and space are enlightened. Pure from the beginning, not just a newly arrived pure. Originally is pure. Those are teaching. Say to you, no. Most of all are Vajrayana practitioners who receive those teachings. This is not just a kind of like wishy-washy talks. It's touching to the meaning, touching to the core of the existence of the way natures are. We are defeating, we are purifying our habit patterns of the cataracts. We're really purifying, we're removing that. And to that, we start right now. According to Vajrayana, discovering the purity, discovering the akanista. Beyond the consumption, that process begins right now when we begin the practice of Vajrayana teaching. That's what we call visualizations or creation stages. Those are all the processes of discovery of the nature, the beautiful nature, the origin nature, the inherent nature. Where things are natural, that which is, they exist. But we don't see right now that. Of course, true. That's what we call obscured. Obscured by our own habit pattern, our own creation of the habit patterns. That's what we are doing practices to clear away, according to Buddha's teachings. So with those understand, now we follow the teaching of the great master, gracious teacher, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche. O Chabji Dudjom Jagra Yishi Dorji. That many of you know and met and maybe receive the teachings. And many of you maybe don't exactly met him, but we are meeting of the teaching of His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche. That means what is called the teachers are divided. Many times they said Dharmakaya, Sambhokaya, Nirmakaya, or body, speech, mind. So we are meeting the speech of the teacher. We are meeting also the wisdom mind of the teacher, and that is great. That is the value, important. Physical is changeable, but this ongoing, unceasing, the continuation teaching as like Sambhokaya messages or richness qualities. And with the Dharmakaya mind, that is a great discovery, that's a great contract. And seeing the great masters. So, in his legacy teaching, that we are following this again. And this is teaching, we went through this, kind of going slowly by slowly. We're not just kind of running this and just completed this in this one session. We can do that. We can do that. Or you can do too. It's all translated, translated. That. But we're trying to explore to some degree meaning, touch the best of the Buddha teaching, and get some little bit knowledge of that, those who newly that, and those who already started know, at least reminding, reactivating our knowledges. Inspire, that's what really we're doing. We are trying to do, and we're doing that. So we went slowly by slowly. Last year we went through these teachings. And one way is just so small, short. But each Buddha teachings, actually in the teaching always said, from even one syllable, you can discover the entire Buddha teachings. That means what? 84,000 teachings. Whole Buddha's teachings can discover from one syllable. In the really teaching said that. You can discover it. Because that one syllable, such syllable are, is a magic word. From there, you can explore entirely teaching with Buddhas and explain everything within that, those who have capabilities. But at least we follow with this teaching and follow with all the other great lineage teaching, put together some degree, and then kind of reminding to each other the gracious teaching, gracious teacher of the Buddha Shakyamuni's teaching and the lineage teachings to inspire us and support our practice in meditation. That's what really we've been doing. So again, today we do the continually similar way. And we went through this first page. And I'm going to go this last one today. Last line of this. Here, His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche said, full wealth of the practitioners. Full wealth. This wealth is, is not material wealth. It's spiritual wealth of the practitioners. There's full wealth. He highlighted 4 of those. The first one is this last line of this page. The page. In particularly, the devotion to the root teachers. That's the number 1, I think. Love and affection for the Samaya brothers, sisters. 2, the bodhicitta of compassion forward to all mother sentient beings. 3, and the deduction of the grasping due to the knowledge that all compounded things are impermanent. These 4 are what named here. Last we concluded the title here. And are known as the 4 everlasting wealths of the practitioners of the Dharma, practitioner of the Buddha teaching, practitioner of the Vajrayana practitioners, should be regarded as indispensables. So that means keep these 4 points, all the practitioners, close to the heart or in the heart. Keep these 4. When we began the practice at the first time, maybe we have those things, quite a sizzling status, or at least one or two of those, quite a sizzling status. But along the way, our practices, many times, those wealths are fading away. Really, many times. Then our Dharma practice is instead more accelerated, more strong, more deeper. In a way, is fading away. That I heard, I know. I read that in that. Saying that word, it looks not so special, not so important. I heard. They say that. But what's happening? Then it becomes heart is more dry and it dries. Intention entrances are going down. And all that fading, good, those all qualities really fading away. Then what's we called? Those old practitioners become even worse than the regular, just like average, those other lay persons. Many times that happened in the past. That can happen again. Why? Because that treasure is lacking, wealth is reducing. Wealth is going away. Wealth is reducing. This full wealth, generally, each of those you have the sizzling wealth, it really will bring all that together too. It's not something that you have to catch one wealth and other wealth and this and that. Each of those really will support each other and will have all that. So therefore, this wealth is like scales of our practitioners. How our practice is going on now. How that. That means, the practice means, actually Buddhism, we are not practicing to please the Buddhas. Of course, Buddhas will be happy. Bodhisattvas will be happy. But we're doing this practice to discover our own innate true nature. We like to become the Buddha. That's what the gracious teacher Buddha Shakyamuni said. Every living being has exists in the same potential, same nature as Buddha Shakyamuni himself did. Ongurapa Masambhava. We like to move to get that realization. And that is not just like story of the Buddha said and that never happened. All those lineage masters, the 2,500 years ago, continuing until now. How many great those practitioners reached that status? All those great masters, we call the great master, they reached enlightenment. They reached the high bhumis. 7 bhumi, 8 bhumis, or 5 bhumis. Really, they reach high realizations. When they reach that, how they are generally? They're so calm, peaceful, love, compassion, patient, and respect and appreciation, so humble, so simple, down to the earth. And they truly become the beacon of the world, beacon of the peace and harmonies, respect and appreciations to all the beings. That's how that. So, therefore, that we like to discover our own. Therefore, this wealth is so important to discover and gain our spiritual realization or enlightenment or spiritual goal. And among that, he said the first one is devotion to the root teachers. Now I'll talk a little bit about the teachers. Generally, everyone has a teacher. Even the lay schools, universities, schools, high schools, they have teachers. There is many teachers. And then as well as all the religious schools or the religious schools on the world, everyone has teachers. There is so many different terminologies and teachers mentioned. Everyone. And what their duties, what they do, they teach. Then teacher means, according to every conception system, teacher means they have some little more knowledge than the others. That's what they become teachers. Knowledge. It didn't mean they're all enlightened. Maybe. I'm talking according to Buddhist point of view. It didn't mean they're all enlightened. But they have more knowledge, more experience, more understanding than the ones own selves many times. So therefore, they're called teachers. That teacher is important. What it does, it ignites the knowledge. According to Buddhism, we have already wisdoms. But our wisdom is kind of dim, or it is kind of like not so ignited, not so sizzling. The teacher will help to igniting, to bring a luminous state according to our readiness. It really will help to enlighten that. That's what they call it, known as the teachers. So the teacher is at every level, every school of this world, there is so many teachers. But among the Buddhism, the teacher is so important. Teacher is important because teacher will help to understanding and discovering the meaning of the teaching of the Buddhas. For this reason, I go little details again on the teachers. In the Buddha's teaching, generally there is so many different teachers. But to summarize that, this teaching, there is 4 categories of teachers. Those 4, maybe if you like to list it, you can list it. It's good. Good. You can write down that. 4 teachers. Those 4 teachers are, first teacher, if I started from top to down, from the top to down, first is teacher of Sambhogaya Buddhas. So Sambhogaya Buddha is number 1 teacher. Second teacher is Nirmakaya Buddhas. That is second teacher. And third teacher is known as, or third teachers are known as noble teachers. Noble teachers. And I go over those meanings after this listed. And the fourth one is ordinary teachers. So there is 4 teachers. First 2 teachers, Nirmakaya teacher and Sambhogaya teachers. These first 2 teachers, how they are. According to Buddhism, they are free from obscurations, totally. Full of love, compassion, and wisdoms. Or negativity, free from all the negativities and fulfillment of all the realizations. As a brilliant sun shining in the sky without any clouds or mysteries or disturbances. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom, their knowledge is immeasurable because there are no obscurations, no obscuration of ego clingings, habit patterns. They're totally the perfect teacher, as we say it. Perfect teacher. No errors, no mistakes. And then many of you already know. Nirmakaya Buddha, Sambhogaya Buddha, all explanations. You all know that. Many of you know that. So, that is how these first 2 teachers are. First 2 teachers, the first one is, for example, Sambhogaya Buddhas. According to the teaching, to receive the teaching from Sambhogaya Buddha, you have to be very high realizations. 8th bhumi, 9th bhumi, 10th bhumi, have to be bodhisattvas to receive teaching. So, for example, we don't have capability of that. We are not at the bhumi, 9th bhumi, 10th bhumi yet. It's our goal to be that level, but not yet. So we don't have, even the Sambhogaya Buddha is ready to give us teaching, but we couldn't due to our habit patterns. We won't able to meet the Sambhogaya Buddha. And then Nirmakaya Buddhas, also difficult to find, such as Buddha Shakyamuni, Guru Pema Sambhavas. Happened in the 2,500 years ago, Buddha, great teacher, came and taught and expounded all the teachings. But after 81 years or 80 years, Buddha entered Mahaparinirvana. So, that after that, there's many great teachers that came, Guru Pema Sambhava, that also they came and in a way they gone. We don't have really capabilities to meet them and receive teaching, even their radius. Then, third one is known as the noble teacher. Noble is a Sanskrit word, Arya. I'm translating Arya. In Tibet, it's called Pakpa. Pakpa. Pakpa means those practitioners who reach the first bhumi or seeing path. From the seeing path all the way 10th bhumi practitioners are known as nobles or Aryas or the Pakwas, in Tibetan Pakwa. Why they call them Pakwa? Pakwa means elevated actually, in the Tibetan. Pa means something elevated. What that means, in the teaching said, elevated from the ordinary mundane ordinary beings to the noble higher status. Therefore, the Pakwa. What? In which sense? Because those post-bhumi or seeing path, they see the true nature of the great emptiness exactly on the direct perception status, not intellectual, not theoretical, not presumption. They really see. Therefore, is also known as, according to the path, seeing path. What is seeing? The true nature. What is the true nature? Egolessness, emptiness. Subject and objects are empty. Empty, when we talk, it doesn't mean that everything disappeared. That's what we chant in the Heart Sutra. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. We chanting that. What we got? Oh, we can't have the presumption. Oh, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. If we believe the Buddha teaching, can't we think that? But otherwise, it's just merely we're chanting. But these great beings, practitioners, seeing that exactly as it is. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Therefore, it's like magic. There's no solid structures existing. But yet is functioning perfectly in the mundane world, what we see. That is true seeing. It's not false seeing. False, F-A-L-S, I believe. False seeing. False seeing. It's true seeing. And that is noble. They are noble. That noble begins from seeing part all the way 10th bhumis. Those great masters, we can maybe be able to see, such as what we call His Holiness these days in the Tibetan song. According to the teaching, they are at that status, some degree. Of course, can't tell exactly what the realization, what stages they are. And then many of those great masters are renowned, such as emanation of Avalokiteshvara, Gorapema Sambhava. Then truly they have to be in those stages, or maybe higher. But we can see those maybe. So that those are known as third teacher. We're coming from top to down. Third, Pakpa in Tibet. The fourth one is ordinary teachers now. Ordinary teacher. Soso Chevo in Tibet. Soso Chevo, regular beings. These regular beings, those teachers, again, how they in the teaching said, those who have been practitioners who has the teacher that can be maybe really very big in the practitioners or come with very expert knowledge and practices, or teacher that can be in first two paths. First two paths, what are those? I'm sure many of you already know the 5 paths. When we count 5 paths, accumulation path, application path, or in Tibet is called Tsolam, Jolam. Those are also known as ordinary, but they are very elevated, not just a regular ordinary. They are elevated. Very good practitioners. That's why they reach to the path of accumulation path. They reach to, that's why, then from accumulation path, they reach to the application path, Jolam. Those are also this, according to Buddha teaching, those accumulation path divided again 3 different levels. And as well as application path divided in 4 different levels. 4 different levels. But however, it means they are advancing. Those are the path in the Burmese, are the sign, measurement of our practitioners' realizations. And that means the realization, in the same time, it shows how much emotions, obscurations are cleaned away. Cleared away. Cleared away. So it's a measurement of that. The gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni, lay out every sign and a symbol of our inner journey, the spiritual advancing qualities. So they are ordinary. Then ordinary, the regular may be just a beginning of the very beginning of the first accumulation of path practitioners, teachers too. So there's many levels. So now this ordinary teacher, what in the teaching said, then the qualifications, teaching, ordinary teaching, then is good to know qualifications of the teachers, generally. And that a contrast in Buddhism that you all know, Buddhism. There is, if we talk, in particular in Mahayana Buddhism or the Vajrayana Buddhism, they talk about 3 different levels, teachings, 3 different teachings. Those are known as basic Buddhist teaching or Vinaya teachings, Bodhisattva teachings, Vajrayana teachings. So that means practitioners or the teachers of those 3 different levels. Vinaya, and then Bodhisattvayanas, and Vajrayana teachers. Teacher of the Vinaya, that means basic Buddhist school. Teacher of the basic Buddhist schools, and teacher of the Mahayana schools, Bodhisattva Mahayana school, or Sutra Mahayana school, teachers of the Vajrayana schools. So now I go a little bit each of those, one after another. Again, if you like to listen to those, and then you will have kind of maybe better understanding if those people ever don't know, and they like to know that. But generally, again, if I talk, the teacher is so important in the Buddhism. The importance of teacher, the gracious teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni said, in the Panchaparamata teachings, those practitioners or individuals who like to reach enlightenment, like to do practices, at the very beginning, you must search the spiritual friend. Spiritual friend is another name of the teachers in the Buddhism. Spiritual friend. Gevashini is ourselves. Tanko need is. At the very beginning, you should search the good or spiritual friends. And why? Because when you spiritual friend, again in the Buddha teaching said, Sesayangata, do dopa in the Tibet said, if you contact the good teacher, that will make you good practitioners and good person. Therefore, you should contact the good teacher or teacher. So now we're talking of the good teacher. So therefore, also indicating there is kind of post teacher too. Post teacher and good teacher, qualified teacher. According to Buddhism in these 3 different ways I already lay out to you. Vinaya teaching, and the Sutra Mahayana, and the Vajrayana. In the Sutra Mahayana, Vinaya, those are again summarized, all the qualifications of the teachers in the teaching mentioned. Those are what? For example, first is I will say, first, the teacher keep the moral conduct good. First one is Sutam Dinchen. So means have the moral conduct. Second, know all the Vinaya teachings. And the third is kindness and affection, those for the needed, the student who needs some support, teacher are also very concerning and caring. Third. And fourth one is all the students, those who are associated, also they are quite calm and peaceful, nice, and quite good. And then next one, again I'm the list one after another. Next one, and then helping through the teaching and helping through the material world to the students. And then occasionally also explaining the teaching as you need it to to make clear understanding. Those are the qualification of the Vinaya teaching summarized. So now the first one is moral conduct keeping. That means keep the moral conduct. That means according to the teaching, how much moral conduct that many of you already know in the Vinaya teachings. Monks, the fully ordained monks, over 252, I believe, or 53. That. But this is not all the monks. And then there is a Vinaya, that upasakas, how much we have? 8 or 10. 10 vows, vows. 8 or 10 vows. And then generally upasaka vows, at least 5 vows. So that means they're keeping those vows according to what they are. Whether they're upasaka, male and female, whatever they are, or ordained monk or nun, whatever, and keeping the vows. According to the teaching, in the Vinaya teaching said, what means the keeping means at least that individually kept the vows for 10 years without any mistakes and errors. That considered quite stable. Stable. That is the quite good stable who keeps vow like that. That without errors. Whatever that vows, they proceed. Something in the rituals. And then next one is, that's the really above first one. Second one is seeing that all the and there's no knowledge of those Vinaya teachings. When she can perform and list and conduct and explain of those vows clearly. And then if it's like fully ordained monk, see all the Vinaya teachings. All those, how to perform, how to purify, how to restore, all those instructions, clearly knowing that. So, something in the ritual. Never, then others are kind of easy to understand. So, compassionate or caring and concerned thought for the needed, those sick persons or those peoples and poor persons, but those students who need support in the way, always valuable. Those all listed. That is like qualification of the Vinaya teachings. Then next one is the Bodhisattva yanas. Again, this generally there is so many descriptions on the Vinaya qualification teachers in the Vinaya teaching, and as well as Sutra Mahayana teaching. But what I'm explaining or what I'm laying out is generally summarized, more kind of popular. That's what I'm talking. And the Vinaya now, that is we completed, kind of that briefly mentioned. And now, next one is Mahayanas. Mahayana, one way, what is said, the great master Shantideva said in the Bodhicharya Avatara, or Sanchev Sambe Chopalan Jukpa. And what he said, he summarized so profoundly in the true statement in that teaching, said, the spiritual friend of Mahayana, expert on the entirely Mahayana teaching, that's the number one. Second is, never give up the vows or the meaning of the bodhicitta, even cost of life, cost of one's own life. That too are the vows of the bodhisattvas according great master Shantideva mentioned. So that means what? Again, in the teaching said, that means, of course it's summarized into two, but that means expert on the meaning of the Mahayanas. So that means the Mahayana entire teachings, all the Mahayana teachings. Mahayana teachings of the morality, Mahayana teachings of the meditation, Mahayana teachings of the wisdoms, expert. And never giving up the vows of bodhicitta. And what bodhicitta actually? There is two bodhicittas. Relative true bodhicitta, absolute true bodhicitta. That you know, I mean, we discussed those two, and many of you already know and read in the books. Keeping up that two vows. And then it contains all the different things. You know that. So that's how Great Master Shantideva summarized into two. Two. But if we go later detail of this, then in the Great Master Asanga, or as well as Arya Materials, in the Sutra Alankaras, called the ornament of the Sutra, which summarize entirely Mahayana teachings, all the vows and really teachings that were by great Maitreya, the future Buddha Maitreya, and as he did, taught that to Asanga and brought that teaching to available in this world known as Sutra Alankara Om Dodi Jin in Tibet. There, Great Master explained 10 qualities of the spiritual friend, teachers, spiritual friend or the teachers. Those are, again, I try to list that and then go over a little bit each of those. And if you like to write down, again, you can write down that. First is, the spiritual friend should be peaceful. So that's one. And the second is gentle. That is two. Third is very peaceful. And that is a third quality. And good education. Education, or that means also good scholars. And good joyful effort to the virtues. The next one is, so the first one and next one. And knowledge of the entirely rich of the knowledge of the teachings. Knowledge of the rich of the knowledge of the teaching on this long flower. So, and realization of the true nature. The next one is realization of true nature. And quite well spoken or quite expert to expound the teachings. Expound the teaching. And then, and very kindness and compassionate. And very tolerance. Or without tired or the bored. B-O-R-E-D, I believe bored. Though I believe there's 10 now. 10, right? Yes. Yeah, those are the 10 qualities of the spiritual friend of the Mahayana teaching. Explained, little more extensive of the first Shantideva's two, summarize. Now, first one, Shivam, what means first one is peaceful. Means, first one, peaceful means that person is peaceful and gentle conduct, keeping up all the vows. Whatever the vows they received or keeping. So because therefore, it is peaceful, not wild, not kind of irregularities, but more down to the ground, grounded, down to the earth. And the second is gentle. Gentle means gentle of the mind, because of concentrations, meditations, the wild mind is reduced to the gentleness status. Third one, very peaceful, means understand the wisdoms. Their wisdom is quite good. So that means what? According to Buddhist context, 3 extraordinary teachings or practices they're really practicing. That means they have the morality, they have the concentration of the spiritual friend, they have also practicing of the wisdoms. And those are the hlapasams. extraordinary training practice of the Buddha teachings. Why use the extraordinary teachings? Extraordinary. Generally, it means that many schools has moralities. Many schools has concentrations. But many schools has wisdoms. But Buddha's wisdom teaching is clearly going beyond, further than that. Because it removes the ego clinging, attachment, negativities. Therefore, these three extraordinary teachings, that's what named three extraordinary teachings. Not just ordinary three practices. It is extraordinary practice because it goes beyond, further. Fundamental of all the troubles is the ego clinging and negative emotions. Because they are direct, these teachings are direct to undermine or uproot or dispel, purify those obscurations. Therefore, it's called extraordinaries. So those are the first threes. And then fourth one is easy. That means the teacher is more knowledgeable than one's own self. That means one's own self, student. We are student, but we are, in the teaching said, if we are equal, there's nothing much really can help. If we are also even lower than ourselves, also can't help. Therefore, let it be more better knowledge than our own self. That's why then call it of the teacher. Let more knowledge, experiences, and understanding of one's own self. So exceeding qualities. I believe EXCEED, maybe exceeding qualities of the knowledge of the Buddha teaching. This time we're talking Buddha teaching, not science, not any kind of other things, because that's what we're talking about, Buddha teaching. So little better than that. And so the next one is joyful effort, virtuous the joyful effort. That teacher has joyful effort to help to the others and helping to keep up the identity quality of the teachings. Teachings, not kind of lazy and neglecting that. And that is quality, another quality of the teachers in the teaching. The next one is reach of the knowledge of the Buddha teachings. That means, again, you all know, this Buddha teaching is then those old teachings, Sutra teaching, Vinaya teaching, Sutra teaching, Abhidharma teaching, and then also come all those Buddha's, his own Sanji Kwa, then Temju said, Kwa means his Buddha's own word teachings, and Temju means all the commentaries on the Buddha teaching. So those, whatever they have, I mean, of course, those excellent teachers such as Great Master Lungchimpa, Great Master Mohan Rinpoche, and all those things, the ancient time and modern times, such as His Holiness Dalai Lama. I mean, so many great teachers, really, they know so many all those teachings. And then His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche, I mean, he was not now, but it was not too long ago having that, and His Holiness Dudjom Rinpoche. Those have so much knowledge and understanding. All that, just their teachings are flowing on from the really just and kind of sometimes we think where that is coming from. It's really coming, and all those teachings are so great masters. So like that, I mean that is what the qualification of one of the qualifications according to this is the teachers. And so they need that. And the next one is they have the realization, not just speaking and talking, but have realization. The way you practice it, meditate it, through the studying, contemplating, meditating, practice, and get realization. Someday realization. Have the realization. That is then, that's one of the qualities. And then when the teacher gave the teachings also expounding that teaching according to the readiness of the individuals, readiness of the audience, and their kind of understandable, accessible kind of teaching, pronouncing so nicely and can understand that. That is one of the qualities, teacher. And then also, next one is kindness and compassion and caring thought. Whenever needed, they have more love, more kindness, compassion, not just a kind of walking there on the surface level. From the heart is really like to help and support and move forward, along with the teacher, him or herself. That sincere thought, not just only based on the materials or something like that, but really, truly from the heart. Heart like to help and support. That is one. The ninth one, I believe. Ninth one. And then next one is, and the very tolerance and the difficult troubles, whatever comes, relationship with the teachers and the student, all happening that, but not so temperamentals, or not so kind of short tempers, but have some tolerance and understandable, and not bored and tired with whatever is happening, something, but continually keeping kind of like inspiration, courage, and commitment. And those 10 are then, according to Mahayana teaching, those are the quality of the teachers. And that is briefly about this. Now I will go briefly, this third one, quality, and then we stop here. And third one is the Vajrayana teachings. Again, in the Vajrayana teaching, you all know, I mean, we all heard that. I know, I heard, you heard, we all heard this. There's 3 outer tantra and 3 inner tantra and all that. But I talk with the 3 inner tantra, among that will encompass also others too. So again, according to Nyingma teaching, in the Nyingma schools, according their teaching, this is in their teachings. And this is also according in the Inner Tantras teaching of the Nyingma schools, Mahayoga, Anuyoga, Ati Yoga, and this is according Mahayoga teachings said. So those are highlighted quality of the 8 qualities. First is what way they explained, or we are taught in the teaching. I will say that said, and have the 3 treasures. 3 treasures, and the 4th one is, again you listed that. So then 3 treasures, and the 4th one is all the dam, D-A-M-P, I believe, dam of rivers completely merged, or the river is merged to the dam or the reservoir water had all the waters. So that is port. Third, and 5th one is responsibilities, and 6th is expert, or the knowledgeable, maybe I use knowledgeable to the tantras. And the 7th one is knowledgeable to the ceremonial or actions, activities. And 8th is realizations. Or Trotsenche means realization of the warmth of the lineage, or lineage warmth, realizations. So those are the 8 qualities that are explained in the Mahayoga teachings. Again, there's many, but this is summarized that. And now the first one, 3 treasures. What are the treasures? Treasure of the treasure of the creation stage of the Mahayoga teachings. So keeping the treasure of the creation stage of the Mahayoga teaching. Third is the complex treasure of the complex stage of the Anuyoga teachings. And the third one is treasure of the realization, the view of the Ati Yoga teachings. So that means have knowledge. That means the Mahayoga, understanding of the meaning of the Mahayoga teaching, Anu-yoga teaching and Ati-yoga teachings. Maha-yoga teaching is the mainly teachings, what's a highlight, again, is not just only that, but teachings on the visualization or the seeing everything is a purity status. What we're talking earlier, that seeing everything purity status. Forms are purity status. Elements are not purity, forms are enlightened. Elements are enlightened. There's nothing is not enlightened. The origin is enlightened. Those in the Maha-yoga teaching, everything is enlightened. Even the Buddha is looking something in unenlightened, never going to find anything. The Buddha's omniscient wisdom, radar of the enlightenment, is searching everywhere, trying to find something is not impure. Or something is impure, Something is impure, but they're looking, there's nothing Buddha find. Everything is purity state, enlightened status. That is Maha-yoga's teaching. In the relative truth, everything is a purity state. Absolute truth, everything is a great emptiness state. Or they're completely union, in one union status. That is Maha-yoga teachings. And in Anu-yoga teaching, all our existing forms are totally enlightened. Everything is completed, greater completion. Channels, chakras, and all the limbs and everything is enlightened. Everything completed. Nothing is missing. From what completed? From the enlightened. Everything is enlightened status. That is really principle. And then that's what seeing everything. So external is enlightened, inner is enlightened. Everything is enlightened originally. Activating that qualities and teaching on that is the principal teaching of the Anu-yogas. And Ati-yoga is that the mind is already enlightened status. In enlightened state of the three kayas, Dharmakaya, Sambhokaya, Nirmakaya, already enlightened status. That is the treasure. Those are the treasures who have the realization at those treasures. That is a keeper of the treasures. Then all the rivers of the completed to the dam or the reservoir water. What those teachings is, all the empowerments, lineage instructions, empowerments are completely held by the teacher, that teachers. And those are known as like external empowerment, inner empowerment, secret empowerment, or beneficial empowerment, and the powerful empowerment, profound empowerment. Those are different terminologies, but all the empowerments are keep completed to that teacher. Or received that teacher, received that, whether that's the he or she. Those are qualifications. So that is the fourth one. And the fifth one is the responsibilities. That's responsibility means who keeping the responsibility of the teachings, not just a kind of like using that as tool to the purpose of the samsara activities, but upkeeping the lineages, have responsibilities, honoring, respecting, maintaining, preserving that. And at the same time, that help to the student, also helping, supporting, taking care of that, not just because of material levels, but spiritual connection level, keeping their connections and having that, and feel relationship, connections, let grow, help and support also those students who are connected to you, help and support with the responsibility, with genuine responsibilities. Support it. So that is called responsibilities. Next one is then expert or the knowledge about the tantras. And that is again the outer tantra, inner tantras. And then generally according to Vajrayana teaching, always the expert on the Nayana teachings. All those Nayana teachings. So that means entire, some real knowledge and understanding entire Buddha teachings. Expert. And next one is the expert and knowledgeable of the ceremonials. ceremonies. In Vajrayana, there's a lot of ceremonies, group ceremonies, or dripchis, and so forth. And there's also related with the actions, activities, such as 4 activities. And then related with those, there's ritual ceremonies, and the yajnas, all those offerings, and the mantras, and mandalas, and it's all kind of expert to some degree, those qualities. So those are expert and knowledgeable with those qualities. And next one is then not just only on that outward, but that teacher also practicing and keeping that warmth of the knowledge. Sorry, not knowledge, warmth of lineage. Keeping that lineage teachings intact and whole. So that, I think, the 8 really went 8, those what taught in Mahayana teaching, and which is encompass all that. So according to the teaching of the Buddhism, if you have these qualities, they are the perfect teacher. Perfect teacher in the standard of the ordinary teachers. We remember we have the 4 categories. This we're talking of ordinary teacher. The Arya, the Bodhisattva teacher, and the Nirmakaya teacher, Sambhogaya teacher, we don't have to mention that. They all have that completely, that. Really, they don't have. We're talking this qualification with ordinary teachers. And if these ordinary teachers had these qualities, they are known as perfect teachers. But however, in the teaching said, in these degeneration times, it's difficult to find a teacher who has all those qualities. And even they have, maybe our knowledge is so weak that we don't recognize everything. So therefore, if there is the kind of like what called the cornerstone of the symbol sign of loving kindness, teacher who has a love and a compassion, respect and appreciation, and keeping up the Dharma according to Buddha's teaching, the best capabilities, not just only relying on the materials, not kind of like desiring and chasing the materials. And so that means what in the teaching said, and less desire, more contentment, and with the love and the compassion, and has responsibility of keeping up the Buddha teaching and lineage teaching, and kind. If we find that, also really then quite good teacher that can help us to inspire our Buddha nature to grow and deepening that. So that is my brief talk of this first one. And then if you have these, again, of course, I go this. When you have that, then you should have these devotions, particular devotion to teacher. If you find a teacher like that, then a devotion is again what's called. The devotion is pith, F-A-I-T-H, pith. Then it becomes the devotion. The devotion is maybe more with the love and the compassion and the affection to each other. Affection cannot just kind of feel something special, this and that, but also really we are sharing similar things. So those, and then really rely and learn and grow. So those are mentioned, but I go over those things continually. So this means first line I went a little bit over, or talking a little bit more deep, and so that will a little bit kind of help to each other us. And thank you very much again for your participating. Thank you. Again, we see tomorrow if you have time. And again, we do short dedication prayer here, and then we completed our teaching session. And then after that, we will do the healing practices. And then along with that, we do here in the Masami monastery, we do every day Dharmapala practice. So we're going to do those practices right after this, one after another we do. So we do short dedication prayer right here, and those people who don't have time to stay all those practices, then you can, that's the session we completed, and tomorrow we started around 10 o'clock in the morning, I think 10 o'clock morning. Then we see you again if we have time. Thank you very much, everyone. And again, for participation, thank you. Rashi Deles, okay, thank you. Now we do short dedication prayers, okay. But you have this booklet, or otherwise we do dedicate the merit. That's what in the teaching said. Thus we did the studying, contemplate on the teaching of the great teacher Buddha Shakyamuni. Whatever gained the merit, we share this merit to all the beings now and forever to everyone, and for their enlightenment, for their goodness. So therefore, please join your intention with our prayer. So let us share together this merit. Also in the teaching said, so with that intention, we do this short dedication prayers. Okay, thank you. Karayarawe Kurve Yingansu Ipindan Deo Malu Yungwe Kire Zuwe Dende Jamzoe Shabe Garje Bardo Danjaraje Omso Den Benzayan Choksum Zoksum Jude Bimam Joy Yine Somde Tuji and Tuzi Quenja Barde Hira Tribeko Kutse Din Zezen Tarzan Yom Sote Seven Renzi Bim Senapji Tony Debe Lazan Ordin Shedon Kolo Samje Bamjarate Sanhinga Sole Namjara Ho. By this merit, may all obtain omniscient, may defeat the enemy wrongdoing. From the stormy waves, the birth, origin, and sickness and death, from the ocean of the samsara, may I free all beings. Okay, that's it. We stop. Thank you very much again for participating. Okay, we concluded our first session, and now we begin the second session right now. Thank you. Sorry, but those people who don't have time and the different obligations, so you can also leave or join with us. We do practice together, and again do a little longer dedication, prayers after the end of that. Thank you. Thank you.